Hi guys, good afternoon. A little preview today of an important game that we have coming up tomorrow. Sheffield Wednesday at St Andrews. We're all absolutely hoping and praying that this is 3 points for Wayne Rooney's first 3 points since coming to us. I think 6 league games now. It will be 6 tomorrow. Opening of the new or the newly refurbished Cop Lower, and we're hoping to get a few people in there tomorrow. I think they've been struggling to sell tickets. It's just been announced not long ago that the next they're doing 50% off the next 2 games if you buy a ticket for tomorrow's match. So I think they're looking at the sales and thinking they're going to catch a cold on this. So they've hurriedly put this through. I hope to take advantage of it, but personally, I think this should have been thought out better. It's not, you can't sell tickets at that price with the way the team's performing and expect people to turn up. People haven't got the money. It's just before Christmas. They should have used their heads a little bit on this. But on the plus side, they've seen the error and they're trying to correct it. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. So Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow, bottom of the table. And usually those are sort of games that we manage to mess up. But I'm confident tomorrow. And there's a big but with this. I've got this new manager, Danny Roll, who, the guy's the youngest manager in the Football League. He's 34 years of age. He's got a real pedigree. He's worked with Ralph Ossenthaler. He's worked with the German national team. He's done really well over his career. He's worked with Man United, at Southampton with Ossenthaler as well. So this guy's got pedigree. And when he left, when he was at Southampton and he left, their fortunes sort of dipped a bit. He's very highly thought of. He's got a big job on his hands here at Southampton. He plays with 3 at the back, but they do play the high pressing game. So it's sort of similar to ours, not quite as sort of aggressive. We play a really aggressive press with 4 at the back. He plays with the 3, and so obviously they're going to have wing backs, aren't they? So the way they're going to, I don't know how they're going to line up. This is what I think is they're going to have Vasquez in goal, Bernard Hiwekwi, which is easy for me to say, and Iorfa. So Iorfa is a real threat, a real threat from set pieces. Although, having said that, I mean, no one's really a threat for Sheffield Wednesday because their goal scoring this season is they've scored 0.4 of a goal per game, and compared to Blues, who scored 1.2 per game. So theoretically, we should win 1.2, 0.4. So it's not. We shouldn't be seeing an awful lot of goals, but let's hope we do. They got those 3 centre backs, and then we got the 2 wing backs who are Musaba and Johnson. So Musaba, good player, likes to get forward. So they're going to come. They're going to come on the overlap. Those two wing backs. We've got Bannon, who, Barry Bannon scores against us, doesn't he? He's done it before. He's a pain in the arse. He's a little nightmare. As much as he's a horrible little bloke, but he's a good footballer. You got to give it him. He sits in the middle there. He knocks that ball away around. He's got Buckley beside him. Up front tomorrow, I think they'll go with Windass and Gassama. So just sitting behind Smith, who is their lone striker, really. He scored 3 goals this season. He's their top striker. So their goal scoring is very, very poor. And on the other hand, their defence is very, very poor. So really, this is a game that we should be looking at winning. But are they going to have this new manager bounce? I don't know. They're not an easy side. No one's an easy side to beat at St Andrews when we're expected to beat them. We know what we can be like. From the Blues standpoint, I'm wondering what sort of lineup we're going to have. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that we should be looking. I think probably at listening to the boss's presser yesterday. I'm going to draw my own conclusions from what he said. We're going to obviously, I think we're going to go with Ruddy in goal. It's going to be, I think Ruddy, you know, at some point January, I think he's probably going to be replaced. He doesn't really suit the type of game we play now, because what you got to look at with the goalkeeper is when the back four press, the goalkeeper has to come out and play like a sweeper, and Ruddy really hasn't got the control with his feet that we want from a keeper. So although Ruddy's great at distributing with his hands, when he comes out of the area and the ball's at his feet, he's fairly limited with what he does. So what he tends to do is just clear it upfield if there's no easy passes, which I can hear you thinking to yourself, well, you know, that's not a bad thing. It gets rid of the ball. But the problem when you lose the ball like that is you've got a 70% chance of losing it, because the defenders coming onto it have a much better chance of getting that ball than any of the forwards do. We're not a big side either, really, if you take away Ollie Burke. So we're going to try and get Ruddy playing the ball out to the four defenders that are in front of him. You know, and obviously it depends how high up the pitch we are, because the Blues game is to compress the pitch. So Laird, and now tomorrow Buchanan is fit. I think he'll be on the bench. I think he had a full 90 minutes for the under-21s. I think it was yesterday. So it doesn't completely rule him out of playing. But I think he'll go with Laird at right back and Drummer at left back to start tomorrow. And we're going to have AU and Sanderson in the middle. These two guys have got a lot to work out. The two centre-halves at the moment, I think, is a weak link for us, because they're just not fitting into the system well. The two fullbacks are pressing, but the two centre-halves look a little bit nervous about doing it, particularly Sanderson. I think Ayu's okay, but he's new to the side and he wants a little bit of leadership and a little bit of someone to talk to him when he's on the pitch. And I think Sanderson at the moment is the captain, but he's actually struggling himself. You know, there's no one on that pitch who is vocal enough, and I don't know, like, I don't want to say old enough, but vocal enough and understands the players and the team enough to get Rooney's message out onto the pitch. Because Sanderson looks like a different player since Eustace has gone. And I think we all have our views on that. I know he's very close with John Eustace, but it's time for Sanderson to step up. He's got the captain's armband on, so he needs to step up tomorrow. Him and AU now have got to get that together. They have to work in tandem to get up the pitch. Don't be scared to take the ball up as well. Going to get caught out sometimes. That's one of the parts of the no fear football, you know, that we keep hearing about. But when those four press forward, then we have Sunic and Bilic in front of them, I think, tomorrow. So Sunic with his foot in, you know, little ratting job like he always does. Bilic can be a Rolls Royce when he wants. Rooney said yesterday he was disappointed with Bilic in his last performance, and so he paid the penalty. He dropped him, and I think that's fair enough for him to say that. Some people are complaining that he throws the players under the bus. I think if they deserve thrown under the bus, then under the bus they go. You know, that's the way it is. He's a straight talking bloke, Rooney. I like him for that. He's told Christian Bilic, who he knows. You know, he had Christian Bilic at Derby. He knows what a great player is. So he's good enough to judge Bilic's performance. And in his eyes, Bilic wasn't doing enough. So you either do enough or you don't play. It's as simple as that. So with Bilic, what he did, he dropped him. And last week we had JJ there. I don't think JJ, you know, I like JJ. He's not a Christian Bilic. And Bilic is someone we need in that position. If we had to have another captain in the side, I don't know, perhaps Bilic would be a candidate, but when you look around the side, there's not a lot of captain material in it, to be honest. So we'd have Bilic and Sunic there, sitting in front of those defenders. Obviously, when the ball comes forward, they support. As the back four has to get back, sometimes that ball's going to go over the top. That's the threat. If they hit that ball over the top, those two centre-halves have got to be quick enough to get back. That's one of the things that AU is good at. Sanderson, don't know. You know, can he play? Can he play this position? I thought he could. because he's strong. He doesn't mind taking the ball forward. He's quite a good footballer. He's athletic, but has he got what it takes to play the centre half in that back four that's pressing? Then we have the front, the front four. So, and I say the front four because it really is a front four. Rooney gives them a little bit of license to do what they want to do. So that four can integrate, mix. The wingers can switch. I think he's still going to go, in my opinion, with Burke up there with Stansfield as the two main men in the front. Burke, I know a lot of people complaining about him, but he has a very big physical presence. And with this Sheffield Wednesday defence being as fragile as it is, I think Ollie Burke could get on the score sheet tomorrow. He's big, he's strong, and more importantly than anything else, he's fast. He's a really quick player. So, but, you put that ball into the channels with that defence looking so fragile. They've got a goal difference of -20. We should be able to really, with Burke and Stansfield, they should be able to take advantage of that frail defence. Miyoshi running at them. They've given away more penalties than any side in the Championship. So that's a penalty. Miyoshi, you know what he's like. Get in the box, go past one of those defenders, foot out, penalty. It's possible, isn't it? And then, of course, we've got Bakuna. Oh, he's mercurial, isn't he, Bakuna? Sometimes he's absolutely amazing. Sometimes his head drops. But I've noticed, of course, Rooney keeps him in the team. And I do think if Rooney thought he wasn't performing, he wouldn't be in that side. But he's a really important player, Bakuna, if we can get him playing. He has to cover sometimes as well, because the threat with this high press is if the two centre-backs don't come with it. So if the two full-backs are up and the two centre-backs don't move up with them in tandem, gaps open, the channels open up. And we've seen it. I forget who it was against. It might have been Ipswich, actually. I don't think it was Ipswich. I think it was Hull City, where the full-backs were at it and the centre-backs weren't, and massive gaps opened up. And Sunic was having to cover the full-back and the centre-half all the time. He shouldn't have to be doing that, but it's getting it right. That's why it's so important to practice. And the other thing, hopefully, they've had 2 weeks now of fitness training. I know we've had some away, and obviously they haven't been, but they've been playing. So there's been a lot of debate about them having the week off, and and people are saying on the project site, people are saying, left to do it on their own. They won't be doing anything. They'll be down the pub getting pissed now. Well, of course they will, because they have these. Someone described it on the a comment today on our site, that the bras they wear, or they're not actually bras, right? They've got a lot of like electronic software in there, hardware, and the software to drive it is based, with the sports science team. Every one of those players that wasn't on international duty last week will have been given an individual fitness program they have to carry out themselves. So there's nowhere to hide. The minute they start, the time is on there, what they do, where they move, their heart rate, their breathing rate, their speed, how long they train for, the intensity that they trained at. All those things are monitored by the sports science team. It's not like it used to be, You don't say go home and train and they just go home, have a fag and get pissed. It don't work like that anymore, So the one thing I did want to, well, two things really I wanted to touch on was the possibility, I think, that Buchanan could step into that one of those two centre-back berths. And I say that because Rooney, in his presser yesterday, made a point of saying that Buchanan can play centre-half. Now, he may have just come out, or he may have just been warning us that this could be a change that he's thought about, and bringing Buchanan in, possibly with AU. But is he going to drop the captain, And then who's going to be the captain? Or he leaves AU out and brings Buchanan in and hopes that Buchanan can bring Sanderson on a little bit in that position. That you might think, well, Buchanan is only a kid. He's good, but Buchanan's played this system with Rooney, and Rooney thinks very highly of Buchanan. and I think he'll put a lot of trust in him. And the other person that's played with Rooney, of course, is Christian Bielik. So Buchanan in that back four, where he's played centre half for Derby quite a few times with Christian Bielik in front of him, is a possibility. It is a possibility. So if you see that back four with a slight change of Buchanan coming in the middle, don't be totally surprised by it. It's a possibility. The only thing that makes me think it might not happen is Buchanan's lack of match fitness at the moment. But the fact that he played him on the full 90 yesterday, he's then got a 48-hour break. I don't know. I think it might happen. I really do. But we'll see. The other thing is the attendance. What's the attendance going to be tomorrow? It smacks of like panic at the moment, the way they've just suddenly thrown these 2 extra games in. I mean, they've obviously looked at it today and thought, you know what? We've dropped a bollock here. This game's too expensive. And what we're going to do, we've got 24 hours. They should have been doing that on Wednesday or Thursday, looking at it and properly predicting what it's going to be, predicting how the fans feel. I know that they look on the sides. I know that for a fact. Just take it from me. I know that they come onto our side. So they go onto other sides. And you've only got to look at everyone's response. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. You don't leave it. When did they put that out? About 1 o'clock this afternoon. You don't leave it 24 hours before the game and then expect everyone to rush out and buy tickets. Some people have already bought tickets as well. So what about those ones? Are they going to get the opportunity to get the other 2 tickets at 50%? It's just a mess, isn't it? It is. And I've said before, I support these owners 100%. Our group does. We love what's happening. We need to have this change in management and direction, having all the money put in the things. But there's things that are there that need changing. You can't. If they want it to be big like this, they can't be small time behind the scenes. You can't just leave, Dale, Dutton, and the team, and a very thin team of support to do things in a sort of, in a small time way. They've got to look at the bigger picture. And Gary Cook as well, needs to just take some control of it. We've had I won't go into it, but they need to sort of get rid of this small-mindedness that's been behind the scenes at the Blues for years and years and years. It needs a clean sweep. They need to get things right and move forward in a very proper, positive way, not fanny around like this. Because what's happened today with those last-minute price changes is very amateurish. Come on, Blues. Get yourself, you want people to support you, do the right thing. Because what that tells us as well is that you could have done this at the start of the week if you could afford to do it now. But it doesn't look very good when you're sitting there thinking, have we took enough money off them yet? And then get to Thursday and think, no, we haven't. Oh, no, we'll throw an offer in. Come on, we're fans, we're not idiots. That's off my chest, all right? So, tomorrow, what's your prediction? I don't like predicting because, number one, I'd never, ever predict anything for us to win. And number two, I don't like predicting actual scores. I think we'll win tomorrow. But, it reminds me so much of the Hull City game because I thought exactly that against Hull. I thought this one now, we're going to get the fans down there. That was a night game, which means more atmosphere. Tomorrow isn't. If it's a sparse crowd, a full Lower Tilton is going to help us so much. An empty Lower Tilton and a ground peppered with a few people here and there isn't going to help us at all. We need to get behind the team from the very, very start tomorrow. And let's hope we score first and we score early. Because I think if we score early and we score first, they're going to get a piece at the back. That's my opinion. They're not playing with confidence. It's a brittle defence, and they don't score goals. So come on, this is the one we've got to win tomorrow. But what I fear is what happens to us if we concede. If we concede first tomorrow, the fans have to stay on side. You can't start that sort of Hull City business where you're moaning and booing and all that stuff. We can't have that. Not tomorrow. The other thing that obviously I think everyone knows what I want tomorrow, and it's not a big ask, please. You know, Christian, you know, tomorrow we need to have a little bit of respect for the people that died in the bombing. So Jeremy Dale, please, you know, black armband, 1 minute silence, and hopefully names on the screen. That's all we ask. It's not a big deal. You can do it. We did it. You know, we did it when Bobby Charlton died, and but we did it for Bill Kenwright. Come on, you know, this isn't a big ask. This isn't, and give the players the chance to have 1 minute to show their respect to the people that died in the bombing as well. It's not a big deal. Come on, do it. You know, and let's just all get back on the same page and let's move forward. All right. Well. Let us know what you think. Put your scores. Give us your score predictions and stuff. On Wednesday, we're going to be having that chat again with Gary Kelly and Pete Hannon. It was a good laugh the other night talking about like old managers and some of the pre-season stuff. We're also going to be having a chat about Sunday League football, and if you played Sunday League football, what was that like? You know, we've all had a bit of a laugh with that, haven't we? So we look forward to doing that one. Please, please, please subscribe and like if you can. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm not really very good at this. So tomorrow, fingers crossed, 3 points. Have a fantastic day if you're going down tomorrow. All together tomorrow, right? Everyone, keep right on. See you tomorrow. Okay, have fun. See you guys.